What if I told you that your very existence hangs on the triumph of a tiny, shivering creature burrowing deep beneath a world aflame? The very fact that you can read this, that you think and dream, may be the long echo of life clinging on through the darkest night our planet has ever known. It's easy to imagine that your ancestors were always human, always in control, but the story runs far deeper and stranger than you might think. Let's travel back 66 million years, to a time when dinosaurs roamed with thunderous footsteps and lush forests teemed with life unfamiliar to our eyes. It was here, beneath the shadows of towering reptiles, that the ancestors of all modern mammals, yes, your ancestors, scurried in silence, overlooked and underestimated. The world they knew would soon unravel in a moment of cosmic cruelty. One cloudless day, a mountain-sized asteroid slammed into Earth near what is today the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact was unimaginably violent, roughly 1 billion times more powerful than the world's entire nuclear arsenal combined. In an instant, forests ignited, shockwaves flattened everything in their path, and molten rock rained from the heavens. But the greatest terror was yet to come. Soot, dust, and vaporized rock billowed into the atmosphere, transforming daylight into an icy dusk that spanned months, possibly years. Plants withered, cold swept over the land. A choking darkness blanketed the globe. Nearly 3/4 of all species vanished, including the mighty dinosaurs that had ruled for over 150 million years. How did anything survive, let alone the fragile foremothers and forefathers of humanity? Why was it not the fierce, the fast, or the fearsome that endured, but rather the small, the flexible, and the hidden? In the aftermath of the impact, the world was transformed into a wasteland. The grand reign of the dinosaurs' majestic predators and lumbering giants ended not in a final showdown, but in chilling silence. Gone were the lush canopies and the vibrant chorus of ancient birds and beasts. In their place, a shadowy cold gripped the earth. For months, sunlight barely pierced the ashen sky, and temperatures plummeted. Food chains unraveled, plant life faltered without sunlight, herbivores starved, and the carnivores soon followed. Beneath this planetary winter, life retreated into its smallest forms and deepest refuges. To survive, a creature needed neither strength nor speed, but an uncanny adaptability. It was here, in the underworld of roots and earth, that the earliest mammals, including the distant ancestors of humans, eked out a living. Picture these proto-mammals, modest in size, weighing no more than a mouse, blanketed with fur to conserve precious warmth. Unlike the cold-blooded reptiles around them, they generated their own body heat, a secret weapon in the new glacial world. Many found sanctuary underground, tunneling into burrows where the temperatures remained more stable and the darkness felt protective rather than hostile. Others adapted to life in leaf litter, crevices, or near water, places less touched by the devastation above. But survival demanded more than protection from the elements. Food was scarce, what little remained required creative solutions. Here the ancestral mammal's most potent asset came into play: flexibility. Instead of specializing, they ate almost anything they could find: insects, seeds, roots, carrion, or scraps of surviving vegetation. Their teeth, which could gnaw, chew, and crunch a variety of foods, spoke of this dietary agility. Adaptability didn't stop at food or shelter. Small, fast reproducing, and resourceful, these creatures could rapidly change their routines or shift to new habitats. Whereas the dinosaurs' dominance depended on abundance and stability, mammals thrived in ruin and change. They were generalists, not specialists, a trait now known to be crucial for enduring upheaval. Quietly, invisibly, through the dying eons, these ancestors remained alive and waiting. Evolution's door, slammed shut for so many, creaked open for them. From that darkness emerged new opportunities for those resilient enough to grasp them. As the ashes settled and the world slowly warmed, there remained vast, empty landscapes, all the towering reptiles and their kin gone, leaving behind a silent world brimming with possibility. It was an evolutionary vacancy of unprecedented scale. Few predators, new habitats, and untapped sources of food. The era of monsters had ended. In their place, the unobtrusive and adaptable were poised to flourish. For the small, nocturnal mammals, your distant kin, this was a blank canvas. Their flexibility allowed rapid experimentation. Within thousands of generations, some began evolving larger brains, sharper senses, and more diverse diets. They ventured further from their burrows, exploring forests reborn under gentle sunlight. The absence of dinosaurian competitors meant fewer threats and more space. For mammals, every scar in the landscape became an opportunity. Tree canopies to climb, underground tunnels to expand, streams to follow each niche, awaiting occupation. This burgeoning burst of diversification is known as the mammalian radiation. Species multiplied rapidly. Some mammals grew larger, others took to the trees, while still more specialized in burrowing or swimming. This creative evolutionary blossoming led over countless millennia to unique adaptations, gliding membranes, complex social bonds, and eventually, much later, the birth of the primate order, your most direct mammalian ancestors. Consider for a moment just how improbable it was. If mammals had not survived those cold, starving years, had they been less adaptable, less able to learn and shift, they would have vanished too, leaving Earth ruled by some other, entirely different creatures. Instead, their survival etched a new path in the story of life, one that would shape our world as we know it. Each trait that helped them: warm-bloodedness, a varied palate, curiosity, and caution, nurturing offspring in safe nests, became a legacy, passed forward through lineages that would one day stand, walk upright, and question the mystery of their own origins. Generations unfolded, and with each, the tapestry of life grew richer. As forests spread and climates shifted, your ancestors' line branched out into forms both strange and familiar: tiny shrews darting beneath the leaves, lemur-like animals leaping through new canopies, tree dwellers with grasping hands and keen eyes. The world they inherited was changed. The monsters had not returned, and so, for the first time, mammals became the main characters in the ongoing drama of life. Among these new mammalian ventures, a lineage emerged in the swaying trees of ancient tropical forests, the primates. Their world required sharp vision, nimble movements, and complex social cooperation. Fingers evolved to grasp and explore, brains enlarged to remember, plan, and outwit new challenges. They formed social groups, communicating with calls and gestures, building the scaffolding for intelligence and empathy that would define later humans. Slowly, over millions of years, some primates left the trees and ventured onto the open ground, adapting anew with each challenge that the evolving planet threw their way. Climate calamities, ice ages, droughts, and tectonic shifts tested their resilience time and again, but the ancient legacy of adaptability remained embedded in their bones and minds. It was this ability to change, to invent new ways of living, and to explore new environments that would, ultimately, lead to the birth of our species. From burrows to treetops, from rainforests to grasslands, the journey was long and winding. But it was made possible only because your far-distant ancestors were survivors of catastrophe, creatures shaped by disaster, made stronger and wiser by fear and scarcity, carrying forth the tools of flexibility, curiosity, and endurance. Their story is your story, written in the DNA that whispers within every cell of your body. Every breath you take is a tribute to their quiet persistence in a world transformed by fire and ash. Long after the fires faded and the skies cleared, the lesson of your ancestors endured. Survival depends not on being the fastest or the strongest, but on the ability to adapt, to shift with the tides of change, to seek shelter when storms rage, and to find nourishment in places no one had looked before. These humble virtues, flexibility, endurance, and curiosity, became the ancient inheritance of all mammals and, ultimately, humankind. In the present, echoes of that primordial adaptability still shape our lives. Whether through technological innovation, migration, cultural evolution, or the resilience shown in the face of personal tragedy, humanity's greatest strength is not domination, but our ability to adjust, learn, and imagine new possibilities in changing landscapes. Now, as we confront rapid environmental shifts, climate upheavals, and unknown threats, the story that began in the ashes of dinosaur extinction offers both warning and inspiration. History's greatest extinction paved the way for the birth of your species, not by accident, but by the choices of long-ago survivors, creatures who adapted when the world demanded it, who tried something unfamiliar, and found in it the seeds of a new world. The next chapter is unwritten, but the tools for survival remain within us, as ancient and reliable as any natural law. The next time you hear thunder, or gaze at a night sky unmarked by catastrophe, remember that your existence is a victory not of force, but of ingenuity and hope. Will we be wise enough to heed the lessons handed down from a world of ash? Or will history repeat itself with new protagonists and new survivors, telling the same tale to descendants yet unknown? The answers, like the future, wait quiet, hidden, and brimming with possibility.